How are we doing, people? Welcome back to Voice from the Corner. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all safe. We're back for another episode of this podcast. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for everyone that tuned into the last one, all the comments, the likes. We've got a few new subscribers from it. Really good to see. So yeah, we'll go straight into this. It's all kicked off on social media. True Geordie has made a massive error. He is a lot of controversy. A lot of people are very annoyed with him. He's made a pretty disgusting joke that was very offensive towards the Muslim community. For a bit of backstory about the joke, now this isn't quote unquote, someone that he isn't really friends with had converted to being a Muslim, and he had made a comment saying that if he wants to be a true Muslim, he should blow himself up. Pete, what are your thoughts on someone saying that?
Jesus, Jack, I only just spoke to you a minute ago and you turned around and hit me with a bombshell straight away. I mean, I didn't even know we was going to talk about this. I see a little bit on social media about, True Geordie of apologising or something. I didn't even know what it was about. But now you've highlighted it. Obviously, you might go a bit more into detail in a minute. But for me, it's not about boxing. But True Geordie has been talking to the likes of Tyson Fury, having his opinion on how he feels about the Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora fight and all that sort of stuff. Firstly, YouTube's a funny thing, and it's quite a volatile thing as well, where, we can reach massive audiences. We know on our channel alone, it's had millions of views. And you've got to be very pickful in what you say and what you don't say. Disgusting comment, really, from True Geordie. It could absolutely ruin his career and all the hard work which he's put into what he's been doing. And like I say, there's no room for that sort of comment on YouTube and on any other platform whatsoever. The world's about everyone is the same. We are all the same. We all go the same way. And, it's just about being respectful to what other people's religions are. And if you've got your opinion on people's religions, keep them to yourself. I always say religion and religion and government stuff and all that, I think just keep out of the headlines, in my opinion. And like I say, maybe he is truly sorry for what he's done, but has he done the damage now? I don't believe you could. You should. What anyone believes in, I think let people believe what they want to believe in. Listen, like I say, if you say what you see, and honesty is the best policy, as I always say, you're not really going to put yourself in trouble. But when it comes to people's private lives and things like that, I think that's to keep between you and your friends or for yourself. But listen, we don't need no negativity spread on social media, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for me, it's very difficult when you're in the side of YouTube that he's on, where he does a lot of live streams, where the camera's on and you can't edit it. You're already in front of an audience of thousands of people, and one slip up can literally ruin your career. And he made a very bad joke, and I think we've all made a very bad joke. We've all gone too far. However, with what True Geordie does and kind of what we do is, we reach out to an audience of people from so many different backgrounds, and it's very important that you try and represent all those people at once. And when you do make comments like he did, that could it can really hurt someone. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine if I was a young viewer who was a Muslim and then my favorite YouTuber, someone I looked up to, said that. So it's never over for him, though. You know what I mean? I respect the fact that he's apologised. I think, anyone that makes a mistake, if they can stand up and go in front of the world and say, look, I made a stupid mistake, I'm sorry, and they end up fixing that mistake, then I have massive respect for him. So I really hope that he learns from this and just makes sure it betters himself as a person.
before we carry on as well, I do want to say that it wasn't just a joke. He went a little bit too far on, and he become very descriptive in what he said, the way you've just said it to me, and it was a little bit more than just a tongue in cheek. You know what I mean? It was a little bit personal.
Well, what I said wasn't word for word.
Yeah, I know. But all right, if it was in that some context, you know what I mean. But again, I would like to say he's got a lot of experience, and like I say, I used to enjoy a lot of his podcasts. But do you know what? I've lost total respect for him now. Total respect, because I think at this stage, in where he is in YouTube and 2 million subscribers or whatever he's got, I think he should be able to hold his mouth a little bit more. And like I say, we do lives quite a lot of the time. We get abusive chat sometimes. We get chat we don't want to really. We won't comment on it, but we won't comment on it. Like, we just take the notice of them. But that's for us to do, though. That's for us to. We've got the power now. We are talking to the people out there. So, like I say, you should be a product of your environment, and you should be a product of what you're doing. So it's like us making a silly joke on mental health or something like that, which is, close to our hearts and things like that. So again, we do all make mistakes, and people can come back from mistakes, but that's going to be a long way back, in my opinion, no matter how big his channel is.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not impossible. Look what Logan Paul did, with the suicide forest incident. I'm not going to get into what he did, because I'd rather just not speak about what he did. You can look it up for yourselves. But the thing is with True Geordie is he's actually a very good activist for mental health. And he's a very good example of someone who looks like someone who's such a tough bloke, who looks like he doesn't have anything going on mentally. However, he does struggle with it. And it's such a shame that he has made that comment, because he has made a joke about someone killing themselves. I think, well, you can't really go saying being this mental health activist and then saying jokes like that. It's for me, it's just gutting. It's gutting to see stuff like
that. People sometimes, Jack, are selling the mental health product. That's the sad state of affairs. And the thing is, people can make millions of stories up, can't they? But some people are just selling the mental health product because it's really high in the press now. It's really high on, clicks on social media, on YouTube, which is sick, really, because people should take it a lot more seriously. But like I say, that's enough on that. That's the top and bottom of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to some boxing talk, some proper boxing talk. We saw Bivol versus Ramirez at the weekend. What was your reaction to that? Because to me, it was a fantastic fight.
Yeah, it's a purist fight, and I won't say for the armchair pundit or the pub man that it was a fantastic fight, because Bivol just nullified him, absolutely nullified him, and basically kept the lion in his cage. And the steps, the movement, the defense, everything that Bivol's got is what boxing's about. And let's take it away from that. I keep sometimes jumping off the subject but Bivol, the way he carries himself, as a champion, he just beat Canelo. Mate, his feet ain't on the ground. His knees are on the ground. He's so down to earth. It's unbelievable. And, same as Ramirez, he showed a lot of compassion and, touching gloves at the end of the rounds and things like that. But for me, listen, whether I class him as the pound for pound best or up there in the top 5 pound for pound best, he is the pound for pound best class fighter in the world outside the ring, the way he carries himself. And I 100% believe that. And there's not many fighters, I believe, that are so down to earth as what Bivol is.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a fantastic fight. Bivol obviously won. Do you think the victory came down to experience? Because Ramirez, whilst he's had 44 fights and 44 wins, his opponents aren't elite. Do you think Bivol won because he was a much more experienced fighter?
Jack,
in the sense of his opponents.
Jack, my favourite saying, records are for DJs, and I'm a record breaker. The thing is, records, right? When you go down and you look at these people's records and you see that 50% of them are no disrespect, but they're car washers, or they're, You know what I mean? It's a part-time job to them. 50% of them is part-time job to them. 60, 70% in a lot of cases. Listen, in prospects cases, 95% of them are nobodies. Do you know what I mean? And what I mean by nobodies, not nobodies in life, nobodies in the ring. Yeah, so let's get it right there. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, we're all the same again. But how can I say it? Yeah, just it was experience. His IQ was a lot better. Bivels. But like I say, records, like people are looking at records and where we're going wrong in this day and age. Like, we'll get onto the subject in a minute. I know we're going to touch on that subject in a minute, but we're getting to the age since Floyd Mayweather, although he's probably the greatest of our era, right? Floyd Mayweather has started that unbeaten record stuff. Yeah, I'm 50-0, and everyone now tries to strive to that record. But like I said, if we go back to the 80s and 70s, right, which again, I'm not saying I'm an anorak to boxing, but look at the likes of Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. They was all like Mayweathers, but they all had losses on their records, right? And that they'd all fight each other and all that. The problem is now fighters try and be protected too much. Let's forget the unbeaten records. I don't believe in titles. I believe in names on the records. And like you just said there about Ramirez, when you look down his record, how good are a lot of them fighters? And how much is he really learning out of them fights? I'd rather see a kid have a 14-fight career, 15-fight career, and have absolute great fights in it, make loads of money, and then retire. Whether he's won all his fights or he ain't won all his fights, but he's a real fighter. The problem is today, they get to 20-0, and they ain't even fought anyone. You know what I mean? A kid fought a kid the other day. He had about 33 losses, no wins, and made a big thing of it. It's all over social media. But when you sit down, you look at these people's records, you go, hold up a minute. But this is what I'm saying. People are living in a fake world. They're not living, oh, yeah, that kid was this kid, that kid was this. I was a freeweight Irish champion, yeah? So 7 years ago, it was yesterday, I think, not today. 7 years ago, I become a freeweight Irish champion. I beat 3 good fighters for that title. I beat Michael Gomez. I beat John Hutchinson, who was unbeaten. I beat Dean Burton, who was Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan's main sparring partner. So they were 3 good fights. It's a national title. It's not a world title, it's a national title. So it ain't about what belts I won. It was more about the people I boxed in my career. Look down my record. Look at the fighters I boxed. I'm not saying they're killers or they're well-beers, but they was all good quality fighters. Do you know what I mean? Listen, no disrespect. I've got journeymen. Don't say journeymen. Say journeymen because I've got real journeymen there like Peter Buckley and that. But journeymen of today, I've got people like that on there. I can walk out of a pub with 10 pints inside me, Guinness, get straight in there and beat them kids. Come on, be real people. You haven't got to train for these fighters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you think one of a massive issue is that we're caring too much about the showmanship in boxing? And I feel like this is more of a case in America because we are seeing more padded records. However, I think in the UK, whilst we are seeing that, we are seeing people start to get thrown into these good fights, when they're below 20-0.
Well, let's use Yafire for example. I know you didn't catch the show properly the other night, but Yafire, for example, in Abu Dhabi the other night, right? He was fighting, right? Call him a journeyman, call him what you want, right? But I don't think you call anyone anything if they train for a fight and they're ready to go. Yeah, and they've got the heart to win. Yeah, they want to win, right? The thing is, he got in the ring and it was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a blow-over job for Yafire. Bang! Gets dropped heavy, right? Oh, and then they try to turn the fight around and try and build the other kid up. But they already knocked that other kid down before he'd even started. And there was 2 knockdowns in that fight as well. But they only scored 1 knockdown. But like I say, get people in there that you can give credit as well and you can get real fights. The problem is, we all know that we're looking at opponents that are there to lose. They're not even there to win. I know I've boxed opponents that were there to lose. And you're still trying to sell tickets on the back of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, I'm not disputing it. I never boxed a few of them opponents. I'm not disputing it. But that's what ruins the game. And when they say, yeah, but you've got to learn as you're going through. What? You're an Olympic medalist. and you're fighting some geezer, yeah, who was hanging about around a show in Manchester, right, trying to get a ticket to go and watch the show. They said, "Oh, mate, it was a, you know, he was a professional fighter, but I say professional. He was a working fighter, because you can't even say professional, because it's someone who's probably just walked out of work or whatever, yeah, right? And he was trying to. And they went, "Oh, do you fancy fighting so and so tomorrow night?" What result? I'm going to get paid. I'm going to fight, and then I can watch the show. And he gets in there and falls over. How is that Olympian learning off that fighter? They surely Olympians and top class amateurs, which I believe you should be a top class amateur before you turn professional. You should be a top class amateur. You shouldn't be turning professional. You've had 4 or 5 amateur fights, or you can sell 5,000 tickets, or you got a blue tick on Instagram. You should have a trade. The problem is there's no trade. They don't build a trade in boxing. From a manager to a trainer, cheerleader, backslapper, whatever you want to call them, manager, promoter, all these people, they don't build a CV and a background. So basically, boxing is like Las Vegas. It's fake.
I'm looking at this from a promoter's point of view. And, you know, for me, I wouldn't want to risk a fighter in a tough fight. Let's say a prospect who's 15-0, because as soon as they get that hard fight and they lose, fans are going to be on social media saying, "Oh, he's done that," you know, and they lose interest so quickly. Do you think that's really like a massive problem of this?
Listen, I'll tell you what one of the most biggest problems is with it. Remember, I've got inside information. I was a professional. Yeah.
Yeah.
95%, not even 90, 95% of fighters don't want to fight each other. 95% of fighters don't even want to fight. They want to go on social media, get on Instagram, and all that. Yeah, right.
Dance routines.
Unbelievable. Look at him. He's great. He's this. He's that. Yeah. As soon as he gets in there against someone that throws punches back, not even intending to win, they go over. They go over. That's their career over. So all they're doing is building a false persona in their own mind. You see what I'm saying? It's all false personas. So the difference when I was fighting, my own career, the only reason I got what I got out of boxing, but I never trained. I messed around all the time. I used to cheat. I used to, you know what I mean? Till towards the end of my career, I've done a bit of training. I used to go to the gym, but not take it serious. But you know what? If that phone rang, I don't care whether it's King Kong on the other end. I was fighting him, and no one could ever take that away from me. No one. But I've seen it in the gym. I've seen it in the gym with fighters. No, I don't want to fight him. He's too big. I don't want to fight him. He's too strong. I publicly turned around and said the only 2 fights I turned down in my career, I was 40 years old at the time, 39, 40 years old, was Liam Smith and what's his name? Jimmy Kelly. I said, what do I need them for at this stage of my career? What do I need them for? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because I looked after myself. And that's why I still put a sentence together sharp. That's why I'm still, you know, I'm not that punch drunk. You know what I mean? No disrespect to the other fighters out there. But I looked after my own career, and I looked after myself, and I knew, you know, that'd be a step too far, because was I scared of them? Of course I weren't scared of them. Like I said, I'd fight anybody. But I knew, you know, them fights weren't the right fights for me at that point in my career. 5 years before, I took him in a second. 3 years before, I took it in a heartbeat. But at that point, I said, no, that's enough. That's enough. I don't want them sort of fights. So, and I think a lot of fighters ain't safe for themselves. They ain't safe for themselves. And a lot of fighters out there, if there's any young fighters listening and all that, problem is, you're being looked after by a cheerleader. So he's going to listen to what you say. He's not been looking after by someone that's experienced and knows the game and been around the game. And I don't know how many times I've got to say it. It's not having so many amateur fights. It's not having 58 professional fights. It's traveling the world as a sparring partner for 12 years, staying in little bed and breakfasts in the middle of nowhere and horrible places. And I had to work out how I had to spar this kid, and because I never had no one around me to do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how I learned. So, you know, I don't like to keep going on to myself, but I can talk about myself when I see all these other people out there, and, you know, oh yeah, you take this fight, take that fight. There was a young kid the other day on YouTube. I've got 2 weeks' notice. I'm taking a fight. He got badly hurt in it. You know what I mean? This is not a game. There's a man still in a coma now in hospital. I can't remember his name. Got injured in America on the weekend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is a dangerous game, mate. This is a dangerous game. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. Maybe that YouTube stuff's jokes because they can't fight properly anyway. Do you know what I mean? So Floyd Mayweather's just cashing in on a fortune there.
Do you not think it's a matter of time, though, till someone on that YouTube scene does get hurt?
Yeah, but it is. But it's a law. It's a law of averages that someone's going to get injured, isn't it? If someone's going to get injured, whether you walk across the road and you get, a bus hits you, or people die in mad ways. But listen, it don't happen like it does in professional boxing, because remember, they're trained, they're trained. And the thing is, you got a kid that's gone out and got an Olympic silver medal, gold medal, bronze medal, whatever, or been a top amateur, and he's fighting a kid that can barely hold his hands up. And there's more danger in that for me. When you've got two donkeys fighting each other, it can happen, but it's a lot less likely than someone that's absolutely, I'm on about offensive weapons in them, and the other geezer has got feathers in his hands. It's a big difference. So, I mean, there are debates down the line we can always talk about. And, I think things like this need to be opened up more. I think things like this need to be spoken about on the Simon Jordan show. I think they talk about today all the time, what's happening today. And I'm not saying talking about the past, but they're talking about what's happening today, like the news today. Yeah, maybe that might get more clicks and more views and more. But I think when we pull it, we strip it all back down and we go back down to the foundations and the fundamentals. There's so much that needs doing, because for me, we have got, we've got a beautiful tower block which is sitting on sinking sand, and every time it lifts a bit, it sinks again. Lifts a bit, it sinks again, and that's what happens in boxing. And we get a lovely fight like Bivol versus Ramirez. Do you know what I mean? Two class fighters. Do you know what I mean? But then next week we'll get another fight. Johnny Jones against the geezer that's never fought before, but he's got 22 knockouts, and I don't know. I just,
Yeah, it's frustrating. But I think one other aspect that people are frustrated with in boxing is everything moving to the Middle East, in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. And we've now seen that Anthony Joshua has come out and said that Abu Dhabi will be the hub of boxing. It'll be the new home of boxing. What do you think to
that? Hub of boxing or the bank of boxing? The bank of boxing, I think we're talking about. The bank, The hub of boxing is Madison Square Garden, Las Vegas, and Wembley behind that. Why are the British fighters going to Abu Dhabi? When we've got Wembley Stadium, we've got the Principality Stadium. If it's raining, we can put the roof on. We've got Tyson Fury fighting at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I don't understand what they mean by the hub of boxing. And Eddie Hearn's sitting there grinning about it as well. So, do they really care about boxing, or do they just care about the money? Understandably, fighters should be getting the money. It's a hard sport, and the injuries that are caused afterwards. I'm one of them people that's got injuries, So, how can I say it? 100% of fighters should get the money. But for me, it's all about the business now, the greed of it. You know what I mean? It ain't about the best fighting the best anymore. It ain't about that. It ain't been about the best fighting for the best since probably 1980. Do you know what I mean? It's changed that much. And I'm talking about, I was a fighter in 2000, 2010. You know what I mean? But I honestly say 1980s was 20 times better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Going back to strength and conditioners and all that. It's just people robbing a living. That's all it is. People robbing a living out of the sport.
Yeah, I think for me, we've got such an opportunity to grow British boxing, such a good opportunity with Tyson Fury, with Dillian White, with Anthony Joshua, with likes of Joe Joyce coming up. And this is the prime time to get Wembley Stadium packed, to get a buzz around the country, to get people in pubs, buying pints, having a laugh, and getting into boxing again properly. Because the more that happens, the more fans we get. And the more fans we get, the better it is for boxing.
People like you and me, they're not interested in. They're not interested in fans. They're not interested in it being at Wembley. They're more interested in it because the money's over there in Abu Dhabi. Do you know what I mean? They probably didn't even know they probably didn't know what boxing was 10 years ago. But all of a sudden now it's the hub of boxing.
Is there a way to change that?
Well, there is. If the border control stipulates certain things, you know, you want to go and promote over there, you can promote a couple of shows a year there, but surely you've got to have the main side of your boxing in this country. We're seeing on the zone now, there's not as many shows in the UK as what it used to be, is there? There was flooding shows in the UK, you know. Yeah. And like I say, when Eddie started with Sky, shout out to Eddie. I thought he was doing a good job. Yeah, he was ruthless. He was very ruthless and was putting fights on and putting fighters in with each other. But that's what people wanted to see. Mate, it's not ping pong. You know what I mean? It's not tiddlywinks. It's fighting. Do you know what I mean? But long as them fighters getting well paid, which fighters said they was getting well paid by him, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. You know, we're the ones that sign the contracts and say if we get injured, it's down to us. Do you know what I mean? Where is the insurances in that? There ain't no insurances. It's down to yourself.
Yeah.
So any young fighter out there that's watching now, please get a good team around you, a team that'll understand you, and a team that will like think about your safety, not think about the next payday, what you're going to get. You know what I mean? You know, fighters should be built as products, without a doubt. That's where the YouTubers, shout out to the YouTubers. That's why the YouTubers are so successful in boxing. Listen, sorry to say, boys, you can't fight. None of them can fight. They're rubbish. Yeah, we've got the odd fighter coming back, and they're kind of living off the YouTubers. Yeah, right. But it's not their speciality. They're not boxers, are they? They've only been boxing a couple of years or something. But what I'm saying
they can market themselves.
No, listen, they've already got a fan base. I don't know how many people I've had to say this to. We are not boxing fans anymore. We are boxer fans. So everybody goes to watch one boxer. That's why when you go to the O2 and you've got a YouTube show from 7 o'clock at night to 11:30 at night, they're there to watch the whole show because they built themselves as products, these YouTubers. The problem is with a pro show is you get a great British title fight on at 6, 7 o'clock at night. There's 500 people in the O2. You get Jimmy Jones on at 11 o'clock. He's got a blue tick and 500,000 followers. The place is packed.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. And another thing, down the card, we've got thoroughbreds fighting donkeys. At least with the YouTubers, it's 2 donkeys fighting. So there's a bit of competitiveness there. And you know what? With the YouTubers, they don't even know what they're doing. So if one of them throws a big shot and misses and the other one clips him, he might drop him, even if the other kid is the house fighter. And apparently, there's no house fighting in YouTube neither. Just like the bare knuckle. The bare knuckle, I've been to the bare knuckle a few times. It's very, very fair. Like there's no house and away corner. They both just fight each other. They're fighters, aren't they? Why should someone be an away fighter or a house fighter? End of the day, they're both putting their heart on the line. They're both putting their health on the line. Do you know what I mean? They're putting everything on the line. I've always said inside that ring, there's 2 honest people in there, and that's the 2 fighters. Outside that ring, mate, there's loads of frauds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sad to hear. It's sad to hear. I mean, I just hope that boxers can take these YouTubers and just learn from them. I'm talking the likes of people like Josh Taylor, who has all the talent in the world that should have a massive fan base. However, he just doesn't have the personality to match it. And
a unified, undisputed champion, right?
Yeah,
and couldn't even get on TV. It's madness. Like couldn't get like a terrestrial TV or Sky or something like that. When he fought, who did he fight?
Jack Carroll.
Who?
Jack Carroll?
No. Before that fight, that was on Sky, wasn't it? I think Catchall was on Sky. But like I say, you know, and amazing what he done in a short space of time. How many fights he had? You know, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Because it should be on someone's ability, not on what they do outside the ring. Because he ain't a unified or undefeated champion for nothing. He is that because he lives the game. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing to wrap it up on for this week, Jack. I think it's a good thing to wrap it up for. And like I say, Jack's been doing lives as well. What day are you going to set a certain day for the lives, Jack?
I wasn't going to set a certain day for it, but we're looking at doing it once a week.
Yeah, try and set a day though and a time, because then people will tune in and people can ask questions. Because Jack and another host, what's his name, Jack? Ian, he knows his
Ian.
boxing. He knows his boxing.
Yeah.
Liam.
No, Kian with a K.
Oh, Kian, sorry. But he knows his boxing. He does know his boxing,
does, yeah.
and yeah, he knows like every fighter out there. So if you want to get on there, go live with them. I'll jump on a few of them lives with them as well. But like I say, we want to try and do more of these little podcasts like we're doing now, because I know people like opinions and like to hear my opinion, Long Neck's opinion. And yeah, I'll leave it there. And everybody subscribe out there, keep supporting the channel and pushing the channel forward. I'm still chasing Simon Jordan down. We will get the Mac and Jordan show one day, hopefully. And I'll let Jack sign you out. Nice one, everyone. Shout out to Global Green, the best CBD out there. That's the top and bottom of it.
Yeah, and just make sure you commenting, people. Voice from the Corner is all about getting people's opinions out there, and we want to hear what you have to say. So yeah, really appreciate it. And again, like, subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one. Thank you.